Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. First off, let me say that if my words are a bit garbled, I have managed to catch a cold. So I do apologise if my words are a bit weird, and especially as I'm trying to talk about something kind of serious, I find myself laughing at myself a little bit because I sound like such a frog. It's like it's really difficult. It's like trying to have a serious conversation when you've been sucking on helium. Not that I would encourage something like that, but you know, you get that high pitched voice. So it's kind of like that, yeah. So I do apologise. I sound sick. I sound horrible, and that's the reason why. And before anybody asks, I'm using the brand new Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Lips liquid lipstick in the shade Show Girl. Very similar to Makeup Geek's Plush Mattes in terms of quality, but that's for another video and another review. So I'm sure you guys have seen from the title of the video what we're going to be talking about today. Ever since I did that video, I hate my skin, and I received such amazing feedback from people. I mean, the comments were going into the hundreds, and I was like, this is obviously a serious topic for people, not just in terms of skin, but in terms of their outwardly appearance in general. So what other stuff can I talk about? Because there are hundreds of things out there. Come on, I've been around the block so many times now. I'm not young anymore. I've been there, done that. Places where some of you guys are at right now, I've already been there. And I wish I had somebody like me to kind of come and explain to my younger self, like, you know what, it's actually not as serious as you think it is. So I'm South Asian, as you guys know. I'm half Indian and I'm half Pakistani. I have quite thick hair. I've explained before that my hair used to be a lot more thick, but it's not as much as it used to be because I take the pill, because I suffer from endometriosis. And in order to keep that at bay, I have to take the pill. And as a result of that, it has made my hair now normal. So it's not thick anymore. However, you would think that that would mean that that would also affect the hair on other parts of my body. No, just on my head. It's typical, isn't it? Let me start off by saying, every single one of you out there, it doesn't matter if you are bald as the day you were born, even though some of us were still born with a big head of hair, or if you are like a hairy monkey. We are all beautiful human beings. Your outwardly appearance does not reflect the inside person that is in there. From the outside, you may think that you look a certain way because society has put into your head, this is how you should look. This is how you should be to be accepted by your fellow peers. That is completely wrong. It is the person on the inside which is the more important thing, person, entity, whatever you want to call it. Your soul is the important thing out in this world. So let me start off with my story, because obviously that is how I started off the conversation with I hate my skin. Oh my god, my nose. So when I was a very small baby, I was really fair skinned, very fair skinned, and as I got older, my skin got a little bit darker. It's actually got lighter as an adult. I don't know, that's a weird thing that happens to people. I've seen it happen to many babies. Babies I've seen that are one colour or a different colour as adults, and I'm like, what? But that's just genetics, I guess. So I've always been, let's just say it, I've been a hairy girl. I wouldn't say that I'm super hairy, because I've seen super hairy. I'm not super hairy. I'm middle hairy. So let's start off with hairs on the arms. Yes, not very thick. Not so much on the top, but more so on the forearms. Hairy legs. Yep. Hairy back. Yep. Front. Quite faint. Not really noticeable. So nothing really there. Sideburns. Hell yes. We're talking back in the day Ashanti. You know the ones. And tash. Yes. Eyebrows, oh my god, yes. I mean, at one point I even had some sort of poor man's monobrow. It's like it wasn't even a proper monobrow. It was just a couple of hairs there that were enough for me to go, is that one piece of hair or two? And I am going to make this into something quite comical, because that is my personality. I'm generally quite a fun-loving, sarcastic kind of person. And because this isn't something that bothers me so much, I can look back and laugh at it. But obviously I know that there are those of you out there who may not be in the same way of thinking, but I want you to be thinking like I am. I want you to be able to laugh, you know? Because it's just hair at the end of the day. The reason why do we all have hair as human beings? Going down to the most basic level is to keep our bodies warm. Look at dogs, they have hair to keep them warm. Cats, to keep them warm. Animals, they have hair to keep them warm. It's for an actual reason. So why do we feel the need to remove it as women and as men? But as women mostly. Why? Because society has made us think that way. When you're growing up, like I'll give myself my example of myself as well again. My dad is very fair-skinned Pakistani man. Now, he doesn't have that much bodily hair, funnily enough. He's got a bit on his arms, he ain't got much on his chest, normal amount on his legs, but That's pretty much it. My mum, she plucked her eyebrows once when she was like 19 years old and they never grew back. Ever since I was little, I've always looked at her eyebrows like, wow, they're so perfect. They are, admittedly, still the same to this day. She waxed her top lip once, she told me, and the hair just never grew back. So when I was a child growing some sort of moustache when I got to puberty, and I used to look at my absolutely stunningly beautiful, gorgeous mum and be like, well, how come I don't look like her? Because at the end of the day, when you're a young girl, you look up to the other woman in your home who is your mother. And you look up to her and you're like, well, I want to be like her. You know, she's my mum. That's how children think. You know, when you grow up, it's very different. But as a child, you look up to the one person, your mum, and you're like, I want to be like you. And my mum, admittedly, beautiful, beautiful woman, always was a beautiful, stunning looking woman, but inside beautiful as well. Which is why I've got so much respect for her. With her, it's never ever been about the outwardly appearance. She's just naturally beautiful, just one of them lucky people, because I weren't like that. A lot more like my dad, to be honest. No, actually, I do look a bit like my mum. Anyway, so, and then even on her legs, hardly any hair. On her arms, hardly any hair. And I used to look at mine and be like, okay. So, but this actually happened, I would say, when it came to the ages of 10, 11, 12. Now, I hit puberty at the age of 11, which is quite early for a lot of girls. And the reason being is I obviously did not know at the time I have endometriosis, and one of the side effects of having endometriosis is that you start your periods early. You hit puberty early. So as an 11-year-old, I started to develop, hips started to change, bodily hair, spots, all these things started happening to me, and I was the only one in the class like that. I went to a mixed school, girls and boys. I went to school in Harlesden, and for those of you that don't live in London and don't know about where Harlesden is, what the demographic is like, Harlesden is a predominantly Afro-Caribbean area, so there's a lot of black people in my class, a lot of Asians as well, a couple of white people, but I would say that my class or my school at the time was incredibly, incredibly mixed. Now, I am going to discuss the races, and I don't want people to get all offended because I really don't have time for you kind of people. These are genetic facts. Now, if you are black, because you've got quite curly hair, and I know that it comes in different strengths, veins, how is it, you know, there's different types of afro hair. My best friend is black. She's explained a lot of this stuff to me, which is why I'm quite up to date on, I can tell the difference between a weave and a non-weave, and I'm so proud of myself. If you are black, and depending on how curly your hair is, it is also going to be the same on your body as well. So a lot of my friends that were black didn't actually have much hair on their body, and I was like, okay. And my friends that were white, the ones who, obviously when you're under the age of 10, and a lot of white people are very, very blonde, and when they get older, the blondness disappears and it turns to a more browner shade. And the same sometimes can happen with the hairs on their body. So if you are white and if you are blonde and if you've even got a little bit of hair, you can't see it because it's almost matching the colour of your skin. So that only leaves Asians. And I'm talking specifically South Asians like moi. Now me and my other little Asian friends, my little Indian friends, my little Pakistani friends, we were all bloody hairy. And the thing is, it didn't really used to bother me, or I never used to think of it, because when you're a kid you don't notice these things. You don't notice looks and race and you know, all that kind of stuff. It's other people that put these thoughts in your head. And I remember it was a boy, and it's always boys, you know that. It's never girls. Girls are a lot more sensitive. They can be bitchy, but they're still a lot more sensitive. Now, it was a boy who goes, oh, Charlena's got a moustache like a man. And that was the first time I was like, I have? Like I got all paranoid and like really upset by it and stuff. And then it was, oh, she's got hairy legs. And then all of a sudden, all these insecurities that never existed suddenly just appeared. And I was just like, I didn't know what to do. I explained it. I remember saying something to my mum, and my mum, bless her, trying to be, you know, obviously not get me into that worrying about your outwardly appearance at the age of 11. And I was still in primary school, just said to me, oh, Charlena, it's nothing. You're beautiful just as you are, da da da. But being a girl and being a child that's coming up to their teens, I was like, mum doesn't understand. She doesn't get it because her skin is like this and she doesn't have any hair. Doesn't understand, you know, typical way that little children can behave. Obviously as an adult you think completely differently. Now you're just like, yeah, mum was right. But this is the drastic action that I took. I took one of my dad's Bic razors. I don't know why my dad used to use Bic. Bic is the most cheapest rubbish razor ever. It can slice your face, your legs and everything. And what do you think it did to me? So I went into the bathroom and I had little hairs around here at that point, but not so much. That was to come later on. But at that point I was paranoid about the hair that I had on my top lip, as well as the hair that I had a little bit in the middle. Funnily enough, I don't grow there now. Irony. And I used my dad's razor, locked myself in the bathroom, and I shaved this area, and I shaved around my eyebrows, and I cut myself quite a bit. So, cleaned everything away, left the bathroom, Charlena. And I think at that point my parents were like, my dad was like, this is your job to my mum. My dad's very old fashioned, so he just kind of left the room and left my mum to discipline me. Anyway, she kind of like explained to me like, look, what is it that is upsetting you so much that you felt the need to do something like this? And I told her and she said, okay. And at this point my body was starting to go through a lot of changes, so we had to have a lot of weird conversations. I say weird because to an 11-year-old explaining periods and stuff like that, of course it's weird. I was in what, early 90s, I'd say. Yeah, early 90s, because I was born in 82. And my mum had this tin and it was full of hardened wax. I mean, she's so old school. I mean, do people still do that to this day? I mean, I think things have changed a lot over the past 20 years, thank God, but she had a tin and it had hard wax in it, and she showed me what she does to do waxing. She took it over to the fireplace, it heated it up, it turned into melted wax. Then she said we have to wait for it to cool down, so that was fine. And then she showed me how she used it on herself. Obviously at this point I had cuts all over my face and I looked stupid and there was no hair there. Anyway, so she just showed me that once the wax is a little bit hard, she just used this spatula, applied it here and pulled it off, and she showed me the hairs. She said, this is how I remove hair. Now, if this is what you want me to do on you, then that's fine, that we'll do that. But please don't go at yourself with razors and cut yourself and that kind of thing. And in terms of your eyebrows, there's nothing wrong with your eyebrows. We're not doing anything to them. You can worry about that when you're older. So I said fine, because it was this area that was upsetting me more. Now, in terms of my legs, the thing is, because when I was at school from the age of about 6, 7 till 11, I used to go to Quran, I can't even speak my nose, Quran classes after school. So that meant I was learning how to read the Quran, I was learning how to read Arabic, and I used to have to cover my legs anyway, because you're meant to be fully covered when you are reading the God's holy book. And so what I used to have on was, don't laugh at me guys, because when I look back at my photos now, I'm just like, if we lived in America, we could wear what we want, but we had to wear uniforms. And that meant wearing a pinafore skirt. And that also meant exposing my hairy legs, which had become hairier. Anyway, so I used to wear a shalwar, which is like baggy bottoms, underneath my skirt, or tracksuit bottoms. I used to look horrific. But to me, I was wearing it because I had to after school. But for me also, it used to mean that I could cover my legs and cover the hair, so nobody used to say anything to me, because it's always other children that make other children insecure. Those children that do that are also the bullies as well, because they grow up to be very, very different. Anyway, so that's how I dealt with it at the time then. Now, when I lived in Brent, because that's where Harlesden is, I lived in Brent, and age 11, year 6 is in primary school, year 7 is high school. It's completely different in Harrow where I live. I had to go back to primary school, which was so annoying, because year 7 is in primary school here. Why? Anyway, so I went off to high school, went to a girls' school called John Kelly Girls' School in Neasden. And I had a completely different set of friends. I was all like, you know, I'm older, I'm all grown up and blah, 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 blah. My body was still going through a crazy change anyway. Maybe that's another conversation for another video, talking about girls going through that change and how difficult it was, especially for somebody who has endo and didn't know she had endo because it was diagnosed 16 years later. Anyway, so I remember, now I used to have a skirt with my uniform. Now my skirt was a full length skirt, but it had a slit down the middle. And I used to think I was all cute and until a boy from the boys' school, which was next door, decided to mention I had 2 plasters on my legs. I mean, I can laugh about that now, but at the time I was mortified, because I remember him on the bus in front of everybody saying, why you got plasters on your legs? Don't you know how to shave properly? And he was right, I didn't. I was using my dad's Bic razor again. I wasn't even using his Bic razor, I was using some naff razor my mum's got. And it's like one of those razors that comes out of a piece of paper and you have to slip it in, and if you don't do it right, it's not a Venus, it's not already done for you, you had to actually build the razor. So old school. And I had cut my legs in quite a few different places again. That fueled the insecurity, fueled the paranoia, until I was just like, okay, so from now on I have to make sure that I don't have any cuts on my legs. And what I used to do is I used to shave my legs every day. Even to this day, if my legs are exposed, I have to shave them every day. My hair grows that quick. You know how they call men's 5 o'clock shadow? I have a 5 o'clock shadow on my legs. So we'd already dealt with the tash, didn't have to worry about so much. The eyebrows, they were dealing with themselves, they were okay. I wasn't growing so much hair on the sides of my face and no beard yet, but that was to come later on. God, it's like a never-ending cycle when you're growing up, isn't it? It's like one thing after another. So I left that school anyway because I had to move to Harrow. We bought a new house, we moved to Harrow. I went back to high school, primary school, and that was all fine. I used to wear tights anyway, so it didn't make a big deal. I didn't have swimming lessons because I'd done them in the other school and didn't have to worry about a lot of stuff. Another thing that I used to actually start to do once I started to buy my own razor is shave my arms. And funnily enough, I still do it to this day. You guys must probably think she's so weird. But you know what? That is a myth. When people say to you that you shave hair and it grows back thicker, then why aren't bald men out there shaving their heads every day and then the hair's not growing back any thicker or at all? It's a myth. Use a bit of common sense, yeah? Don't listen to what people say about how if you shave hair on your face, it's going to grow back thicker. No, 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 no. If you're a man, maybe on your face, but that's more to do with testosterone. That's nothing to do with women and the way women's bodies are. It just grows back. The only difference is, I use an example of the hair on your arm. When you stroke it, it's very fine. When you shave it, yeah, of course it's going to be spiky because the hair is flat now because you've shaved it off. Whereas before it was soft, untouched. So that's why in your head you may be thinking it's growing back thicker, but it really isn't. Because if you leave it a couple of weeks and it fully grows back, it'll be back soft again. But I shave my arms. I do. I still do it to this day. I'm lazy. I can't be bothered to go and spend hundreds of pounds of money to go and get hair lasering done. I just shave it. It's just quick. It's just easy for me. So I normally shave up to, like, let's say today, I've got this top on, which has no shoulders. I've shaved up to here. I can still see little hairs where I've missed it. But ain't nobody going to be out here with a microscope eyeballing, oh, I got a spot there. That there is a chicken pox scar I've got there. I've got my BCG mark here. I don't care about these things. Oh my God. The biggest, worst critic is ourselves. But that is brought on by other people saying things to us. Because if nobody had ever mentioned my tash, I'd probably never care about it at all. Even today. But the things that I do now is I shave my arms. If I'm going to be showing them, I'll shave it up to here. There's no hair even on the inside of my arm, so it's just like touch up. Under my arms, I shave like once a week. Again, I ain't getting waxing done. Waxing is the devil's child. Waxing on your legs, on your body, on your back, on your face, forget it. If you can avoid waxing, please do. It is one of the worst things ever. It literally damages and rips the skin. Oh. There are so many women I know, Asian women in particular, that have bumps all over their legs and their arms. It's from waxing. It's from ingrown hairs. I don't have any lumps and bumps and I'm happy to shave it. So you need to think about weighing that up. If you want to spend the money on having lasering done, go ahead and get lasering done. That's fine. It works. It does the job. I have it done on my face. Where else? I get my bikini wax done like once every few months. I'm so lazy. Again, who cares? Why do you need to get it done? Don't give me that it's a hygiene thing. Ain't no hygiene thing. You need to shower every day. If you do not shower every day, then you're going to stink, hair or no hair. So I don't know why people use that hygiene excuse, because I've had it grown full out and there ain't no smells or anything like that because I shower every single day. Sometimes twice, depending on how busy I've been throughout the day. Same goes for under your arms. I shave it. You can get it waxed, but again, oh my God, the pain, it's just not worth it. When I was at university, I used to buy that Veet wax strips. I used to stick them to the side of my face and tear them off. My face would be red for about 2 days, I'd come out in little white spots all over my face. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. I've got very sensitive skin, so not everybody's going to come out in white spots. But having red raw skin, I don't know how much damage I may have done to my skin at that age when I was 19, 20 years old. When I stopped doing that, then I started using hair removal cream. Hair removal cream was the best thing for me to use. I used Veet. I think I've still got it in my room somewhere, where I would let the hair grow and then just apply. I know it says, oh, do not use on your face. You can buy ones for your face. It doesn't matter. How is a cream going to know the difference between the hair on your legs and the hair on your face? It's not. Raw delicate areas, just don't get it in your eyes. So I used to completely cover my whole face, top lip, everywhere around there in the hair removal cream, remove it, and as it started to grow back very softly, then I would do it again. That was it. Because I think I got to about 14, 15 when I started to grow hair everywhere else. These are hormonal areas. Typically your chin area is a very big hormonal area. If you look at women who are over a certain age, gone over through their menopause, they've stopped growing hair in many places, but in their chin they've got bloody big ropes coming out of their face. I mean, I see my mum. My mum has gone through that stage. She barely has any hair anymore anyway, but she still gets them flipping things that you can whip people with them. And I see her just 1, 2, just tweezing them out. She gets like 4. I get like 4 million. So I got the bum end of that deal, man, I'm telling you. But yeah, so it's just about the way that you deal with it. Now on my face I get hair lasering done. I will do an in-depth video on that one day because I've actually been doing it for a few years. For those of you that have been told hair lasering gets rid of it permanently, lies. Another lie, another myth I'm telling you about. So first one was about shaving your hair and it growing back thicker, lie. Next one is hair removal through IPL lasering or whatever it is, another lie. It never ever fully goes away. It can be reduced significantly, like up to 80%, which how mine on my hair on my face is now, but it does not completely go away. I'm going to show you right now because I actually need to shave my face. So this is the way that I do it. This ended up being better for me because I've got such sensitive skin. I was getting this area threaded because I get my eyebrows threaded and I get my top lip threaded, and then I was using hair removal cream on the rest of my face. This ended up working out more cost effective for me in the long run, and less pain, less maintenance as well. I ain't got time to be going to the salon every other week to get this plucked and this. Who got time? If you're a busy person like me, you ain't got time for this every 5 bloody minutes. So you need to think long term, and you need to think long term investment as well. So what you're supposed to do is your hair grows in cycles. So I had to leave the hair on my face to grow and grow and grow and grow to the longest I've ever let it grow in my life, which was just heartbreaking for me. Because I was like, I can stroke my hair like I'm like a little bear. Then what you're supposed to do is shave your face. You're meant to completely shave it so that entire one cycle of hair is completely flat. Not pluck it because that comes from the root, not wax it because you're pulling out from the root. It needs to be flat to the skin. It needs to be flush to the skin. Then what you do is, I just use my normal Venus razor and some shaving soap, to be honest, nothing fancy. I don't like those little razors, the little hair razors. They ain't good enough for me. And they're not strong enough, and I can't guarantee they'll pull out every hair. And then what they do is they run the laser over your skin, and then over a certain period of time it will grow back less and less and less and less and less. I think I got my last lasering session done 3 months ago, and if you look up close, can you see I've got a tash growing here? I have, yeah. Here, bit of hair here. Not so much here, but definitely my top lip. I go out like this. Because guess what? I don't care. It's just hair. It's just hair. The only person who's paranoid about it is you. Not somebody else who's looking at you. Because look, why are you looking up that close anyway? That's what I would say to somebody. Why are you all up in my face? Get away from my face. I've got a cold as well. You don't need to see what's going around in this section. So then I would get the lasering done, but then I would shave it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shave this over the next couple of days, and then it will take another 3 months for it to fully grow back. Then I'll get the lasering done again. So, and I pay £75 for my full face. So you can imagine in the long run, having to go and get this threaded, that waxed, this waxed every 3 months. Every 6 months I go. Save so much time and so much money, and it's the safer and better way. But it always grows back. It grows back very fine, but it'll never go away completely. So yeah, what else? I shave my legs only when they're going to be on display. Because to me, I personally like having smooth skin. I like the feeling of it most of the time. Sometimes I leave it, sometimes I don't. It's no big deal. No one cares. No one looks at your legs that closely. Really, it's an insecurity that they have themselves that they push onto other people. Now, if we are going to talk about society's way of accepting hair on women's bodies, there are many different varying reasons why people like to have hair and people don't like to have hair. There's a feminist reason for it and there's a non-feminist reason. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's always down to individual choice. But I want girls out there to know that, you know what? If you have got a bit of body hair, it's no big deal. When I was 24, I remember I went on holiday to Turkey with my two friends and they're both black. They don't have that much body hair on their body. They don't. That's just how their genetic makeup is. And me, I was like, right, I'm going to be in a bikini. Do you know what I did? I went and got my back waxed. I have never had that done in my life because I'm just like, well, who can see my back anyway? I don't show off my back. It's just not me, whatever. I got my back waxed. The following day, my entire back was covered in little white spots. They were red raw and they were sore. And I was going on holiday 2 days later. The entire holiday, my back was red, it was raw, and it looked horrible. If anything, it would have been better if I just left it with a bit of hair on it, because it wasn't so obvious. But the fact that now people could see a red back covered in spots made it so obvious that I'd done something about it, and I vowed to never, ever, ever be that shallow and vain to ever have to do that ever again, and I never have done. Even if I've worn a sari and you can see a little bit of my back, I'm like, so there's a tiny bit of hair there, who cares? Why are you looking at my back anyway for? Look at my face, that's what you're talking to, right? You're not talking to my back. So when I hear about a lot of ladies that get full body waxes done, and I know it's a lot of Asian women that do it, ask yourself the question, why are you doing it? Are you doing it for yourself? What? Okay, if you are, why? Are you a swimmer? No? No? Are you doing it for your man? That's another question you need to ask yourself. Is it because you believe that your partner, your husband, your boyfriend, whoever it is, likes you better or thinks you're more attractive because you've got no hair on your body? Let me tell you something, and let me tell you something from experience. 9 out of 10 men do not care if you've got hair on your body. They don't care. At the end of the day, if they love you for you, they're loving you because of your personality. Yes, okay, they'll say, you know, oh, yeah, you're a beautiful woman and that's the first thing that attracted me to you. But were they attracted to your back? Or were they attracted to your face? Or were they attracted to your personality? Don't give me that nonsense of, oh, yeah, my man prefers it. Well, so what? I prefer big muscles. And if somebody hasn't got it, I'm not going to say to them, I don't love you anymore because you suddenly become skinny or you suddenly become fat. Then you need to really question yourself as to what you're just with somebody for aesthetic purposes rather than for the person they are within. Now, I do understand that there are women out there that suffer from like polycystic ovaries. It means that their hair grows so much more than normal women does. And I do understand that it can make them feel self-conscious. It can make them feel a bit more masculine than they want to as well. Because obviously hair is associated, or bodily hair is more associated with men. I mean, there is this woman, I really can't remember her name. I'm sure somebody below will let me know her name. She is a Sikh woman. She's got a beard. She's actually really popular online, and I think she suffered from polycystic ovaries. Correct me again if I'm wrong, but she suffered from some condition that meant that no matter how much she waxed, no matter how much she threaded or even had lasering done, the hair just kept growing back. What did she do in the end? She embraced it. She embraced it. She was like, you know what? This does not define me. My hair does not define me. The hair on my body does not define me. This is what defines me. And that's what everybody needs to remember. And I'm very well aware, yeah, okay, I have a beauty channel and blah, blah, blah. But here I am with my tash on display and I don't care. I've told you guys this camera is super, super sharp. And I'm happy to show that I've got hairs all over my chin. I've got hairs on the side of my face. So what? Everybody has hair. Everybody has hair on their bodies. But it's just about how you can accept yourself in understanding that it's just hair. It's not that big a deal. Having a bit of a tash is not going to stop you getting a job. Having a bit of tash is not going to stop you getting a man. And that's true as well. If that's what you're worried about, you're too busy trying to please the opposite sex rather than try to please yourself. If that person cannot see that there is a person underneath this, they don't deserve to be with you. I've got culottes on right now. I've only shaved my legs up to the knees. Why do I need to shave it any further? Who's gonna see it? Do you know what I mean? Like, even if I get a bikini wax done and I get the full Hollywood, because I'm just like, what's the point of leaving a strip? You know, just get rid of all of it. and then I'll leave it for like 6 to 8 weeks to grow back. So if I was that paranoid about it, I'd be there every 2 bloody weeks getting it. Oh, I don't want to put myself through that pain. I don't want to have lasering done in that area as well. So delicate. But you know, it's like, so what? Yes, okay, fair enough. I remove hair off of my body because this is my personal choice to do so. But am I anal and control freakish about it? No. No. Because if that was the case, this would not be here right now. I actually, the last time I had my hair lasering done, I left it nearly a year. So I had a year's worth of hair growing on my face and I was just like, so. On my face, the reason for me a lot is as well, I've noticed, in terms of applying makeup and my skin colour. Now, because I'm medium toned, but I can be, I mean, my body is actually a different colour to my face. That's just, it's always been that way. But what I have noticed is that if I've got a lot of hair on my face, my skin looks a different colour. So I've got no hair on my forehead, I've got none hair up here, but then this area is darker than the rest. And then when I apply foundation, I actually find that having hair there interferes with it slightly. I mean, let me know if I'm not the only one like this. I can't be the only one like this. And when I've got no hair, I notice that the foundation glides a lot better. My skin is all one colour. So there is that side of things as well. So it's not necessarily a vanity thing. It's, well, kind of is and it kind of isn't, if that makes sense. It's just because, well, if I'm going through all this effort to put makeup on, I at least want myself to look one colour, right? Instead of looking like I've got contouring done naturally when it's not. It's just a bit of a beard going on. So that's it really. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I mean, I'm Asian, I'm hairy, and so what? What's the big deal? Hasn't stopped me progressing in life in any way, shape or form. However, what I would like people to realise is that when you've got children especially, and those formative years, and those are the years where insecurities start to show themselves, that's when you need to be more aware of what's going on and how to approach it with your children. I mean, we've got a 3-year-old in our house. She's got a bit of hair on her legs and her arms. Do you think anybody has said anything to her? If I started saying things to her like, oh, look at you, you're so little and hairy, she'll be like, and what? Is that bad? You know, don't put these thoughts into their heads when they're so young. And especially if you've got boys, I don't even know what to say, to be honest, because my brother's not really like that. My brother was never really like that, to be honest, towards his big sister, probably because I would have beaten him up because I'm bigger than him. Well, I was bigger than him, not now. But, you know, it's the way that the opposite sex say things to girls, and then it makes girls feel a certain way. And then for the rest of their lives, they're out there trying to impress men rather than trying to worry about impressing themselves and trying to build and bolster their own confidence and get rid of those insecurities that other people have brought into their lives. Because it can take time to get rid of these kind of things. But I want you lot all to know from me, someone who's been there, done that, it's not that big a deal. Live your life, enjoy your life. Do what makes you happy for yourself, not for other people. Now, if that does mean getting your full body wax done, if that's what makes you happy, go ahead and do it. But ask yourself the question, why am I doing it? If it's just because you've got a little patch of hair, then fine, get rid of that. You don't need to go for your entire body. My God, that must be so painful. The entire body, ow. And that must be expensive to have to do that every now and then as well. Like, forget that. I don't bother with that stuff. Like I said, I got hair on my back, so I've got a tash, so I've got hair on my legs, so oh, I missed a bit. So what? Tomorrow's another day. That's it. The sun will still come up in the morning if I have still got a tash there, and that's it. And on that note, I'm going to end this video and wish you all the best, and I'll see you all in the next video.